I can see there's 2 students here. Can you just put a note in the chat that you can hear me? Yeah, can you let me know? Anyone? No one. It says you don't have. Yeah. You hear me? Yeah. To check that. Okay, with you. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to get started now. So today we're going to look at Task 1 IELTS essays. I'm going to share the screen with you now, so you can see what we're going to do today. I'll just open my document here. 2 seconds, so just a moment. Share the screen. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to look at Task 1 IELTS essays today. Now, on the IELTS exam, there are always two essays. Yeah, there's one that is 150 words, and there is one that's 250 words. And it's the 150 word essay I'm going to look at with you today. So you can see here that the academic writing lasts 1 hour, and you will be expected to do 2 essays. Now, the first essay is 150 words, and I'll just show you an example of this today. And this is what you will see on the actual exam. Before we come to the PowerPoint, I'll show you this as an example. The structure of the question will always explain what the chart says. So, for example, here it says the chart below shows the number of men and women in further education in Britain in 3 periods and whether they were studying full or part-time. Now, the point is you have to compare and contrast the data in the graph, and you will see this. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint in a moment, so we'll look at it a bit more closely in my PowerPoint. But if you look here, that will be 150 words, and you're expected to spend 20 minutes on that essay. So that's the first one. The second one will be here, task 2. Where are we? Here's an example, task 2. I'm not going to look at this today, but this will be the one where you are expected to give an opinion. And it's 250 words. So if you think the whole exam is 1 hour, 150 words for the compare and contrast, 250 words for the opinion essay. And I'm just showing you this today. I'm not going to look at it in detail. What I am going to look at is the task 1 essays. So can I just check? Can anyone let me know that they can hear me? Yeah? Anyone? Elisabetta? Can someone answer or put a message in the chat? Yes, okay, I can see that there. Okay, so let's have a look now at the PowerPoint that I've prepared for you. Sorry. Can you see the PowerPoint, everyone? Yeah? Can everyone see the PowerPoint? Yeah, okay then. Let's come back to that then. Okay. Okay, when we look at task 1 essays, I'm going to look at one specific example. You are comparing and contrasting data. And the point of this exercise is that in the exam, well, not in the exam, afterwards, when you go to university or in your A levels, you will be expected in some subjects, for example, in economics, to compare and contrast data. Some of you may choose to do degrees where you compare and contrast data. Now, in this essay, you are not putting opinion. You literally are describing what you see. The second essay, you are expressing an opinion. But again, for today's lesson, we're focusing on the first essay, where you are comparing and contrasting data. Now, this is an example. and I want to look at how we would structure this essay. So if you look at the question, it says you should spend 20 minutes on this task. It's very important not to spend more than 20 minutes on this task, for the simple reason that the second essay has more marks. And the second essay is what you should spend the 40 minutes on, 250 words. And again, you mustn't, that's what I explained to you last week, time management is very important in IELTS. So you will look at this graph. Now, I need to get someone to speak to me and tell me, what do you see? What's the first impression that you get when you see this graph? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me what you see? Anyone? Let's get some names here. Okay, I've got an Alua, Liz, Sasha, Razi. Can someone speak? So have you got your mics on? Yeah, Razi, have you got your mic on? Yeah, can you speak? Yeah, tell me what you see in this graph, or put it in the chat at least, because I need to get some feedback from you. What do you see in that bar chart? What's the first thing you notice? You can't see it. Jason, you're there. Can you see the chart? Can you see the bar chart? Hello, I'm not getting any sound from anyone. Oh, you can't speak, anyone. Yeah, I can't see. Can you unmute your microphone, maybe? Yeah, can you check your microphone and check that it's not muted? Yeah. Hello?
So I can unmute.
Yeah, because it seems that no one. Yeah, can you press the button where you've got the microphone? Can you see the bar chart on the screen, Jason? Because no one is answering me.
I can, yes.
Good. Yeah, that's all I needed to check, because I want to get some feedback from some students. Yeah. So yeah, can you unmute your microphone? Someone, Elisabetta? You don't have mic. It's very strange. Liz? Yeah. If you look on your screen at the top, you'll see next to the video in the right hand corner, there's a microphone button. And if you press that, that means you'll be able to speak. And if you can't speak, at least put your feedback in the chat so I can get some feedback from you. So anyway, I'll continue with this. So if you look at this, this is a sample essay. You may have a graph, you may have a pie chart, you may have a bar chart. This is a bar chart. Now, this again it says you should spend 20 minutes on this task. The chart shows the number of mobile phones and landlines per 100 people in selected countries. You will often get a bar chart where you are comparing and contrasting data in 5 countries. Now, the reason why they do that is because they'll give you high numbers, low numbers, and some in the middle. So it gives you the chance to compare and contrast the high and low, and then look at the middle group separately. And then you will always see this instruction: write a report for a university lecturer describing the information given. You should write at least 150 words. Now, you can write more than 150 words, but do not write less than 150 words, because that will drop the score in the exam. Now, the important thing is that 150 words is the minimum. Now, this is marked 1 to 9, as all the IELTS skills are. And in order to secure at least a 6, you need the minimum words. If you write below that, you're going to reduce your score to 5.5. So this is important. Now, the strategy that you need in the exam, that's why I want some feedback from someone, is look at the bigger picture. Now, before you even look at the figures and you look at the names, get a visual image of what you see. Now, the visual image gives you the overall idea, and it helps you very, very quickly identify the key points in the graph, in the bar chart. Now, someone can give me some feedback at least in the chat. Yeah. What do you see there? Yeah. Someone there? Catherine, was that you?
Yes, that's me.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So, Catherine, can you tell me what do you see in this bar chart? Yeah.
A number of phones for 100 people in different countries.
Yeah. And if you look there, you've got Canada, US, the rest are European countries. Yeah. So that's something to identify. Maybe if you had Asian countries, you may have Asian, Europe, American countries. So it separates them. And then if you notice, what's the difference you see between the mobile phones and the landlines? Overall, not specifically at this point.
There are different amount of phones in different countries.
Yeah, and if you look at these countries here, Canada and the US. So can you see the mobile is the lowest, isn't it? Here they're higher, here they're similar, that is somewhere in the middle. So you get an overall idea. And then you see the landlines. Do you know what a landline is?
No.
Does anyone else know what a landline is? I mean, obviously you all know what mobile phones are, but what's a landline? Anyone else? Yeah? Anyone else? Put it in the chat if you haven't got a microphone. What is a landline?
Is it a phone with buttons and it's a wire phone?
Yeah, it's
not a mobile.
Yeah, it's wired. It's the phone we have in the house, isn't it? Now, sorry? Yeah. So if you look there, which country has the most landlines?
Denmark.
Denmark. And the lowest is Italy, isn't it? And then you've got these, Canada, US are similar. They're quite similar. That's somewhere in the middle. So you can see you have a high, low, you have some that are similar, and you have one that's a bit different usually. So that is an overall, and it's an overall pattern we see in a lot of these bar charts that they give you in the IELTS. Have you taken the IELTS before, Catherine? Have you done it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so have you done any IELTS lessons at all?
I tried to solve some. Well, I saw some tests.
You've seen tests. Okay, so this bar chart is the most common one, along with the graph and along with the pie chart. Yeah. So as we said, the strategies is first you look at the bigger picture, and also then look at the tense that you need. Now, do you see any dates there? Anyone? Yeah. What do you see? Or anyone else? Elisabetta? Alua? Anyone? You can put it in the chat, someone. Can you see dates in that? Or I can see Selim now. Yeah. So what do you see? Can you see, Catherine, any dates there or not? There aren't.
What was the question? I missed.
Can you see any dates? Is it, say, 1980 to 2000 or anything? There's nothing, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is telling you, if you don't have any dates, that is a general truth or fact about those countries. So that means we use the present tense. If we had dates, we'd use the past tense. So this is something, again, that is important to remember as a strategy in the exam, because in the exam, they will mark this essay, there will be 4 criteria they use to mark this essay. One is task achievement. Have you answered the question? So have you looked at that data and described what you see? So that will be marked 1 to 9. And then you have coherence and cohesion, which is, are you using paragraphs? Are you using link words? And if we have time at the end, I'll show you some of the grammar that we use for these essays. Are you using words like furthermore, moreover, by in contrast, comparing and contrasting the data? So that's coherence and cohesion. Then there is lexical resource. That's your vocabulary. Then you have a separate score for grammar. Now, in the grammar score, they will note that you are using the correct tense. Yeah. So again, for this one, because it's what's generally true for those countries, you use the present tense. If it was specific to a time period, then you would use the past tense. Okay, but here you've got no date, so you don't need it. So these are the two first things, that you need to consider when you take this exam. Think about the tense you are going to use. I'll use present tense because there's no year. Look at the bigger picture. In which countries do more people use landlines? In which countries is the opposite true? Look at the same patterns for mobile phone users. So this is what you generally do, and you're doing this very quickly before you start writing the essay. And then which country has the highest percentage, which the lowest, which country has the highest of landline users, which is for mobile phone users, highest, lowest, middle. So that is what you're going to be doing. One thing you must not do in this essay is list. If you say Canada has around 38% of mobile phone users and just above 60% landline users, then the USA has 48 out of 100 mobile users, but just under 70% landline. If you do that, you're not going to get a high score in the IELTS. You compare, contrast all the way through. If you just list, again, you're going to stay down on the 5s. And remember, if you want to go to the better universities like LSE, like UCL, you need to get 7 for LSE, 6.5 minimum for UCL. And again, obviously, it depends on what you're going to study. But if you want to go for the higher scores in the writing, you must remember that in the exam. Now, they're your strategies and then your grammar. And this is something you need to think about. Comparatives. When you're comparing countries, you could say, on the one hand, in the USA, 48% out of 100 people had mobile phones, whereas in Sweden the figure was much higher, standing at just below, what are we, 90%. So you are comparing and contrasting all the way through. You're looking at the highest, lowest. I mean, Canada's the lowest, Italy is the highest, and you're comparing here. Italy is the lowest, Denmark is the highest. So you're getting the overview. Don't leave any country out either. Don't ignore a country, because if you ignore a country, you're ignoring the data, yeah? And you mustn't do that as well. Okay, if we come back to the chart as well, let's just quickly look at this. So if we look at the grammar, what is a comparative and what is it? What's an example of a comparative? If you think of a comparative sentence in this, I can see Catherine, hello, you've got your mics off. What would you say a comparative sentence is? What are you doing in a comparative sentence? Catherine?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what are you doing in a comparative sentence? You are comparing, aren't you? And when you're comparing, what are you doing when you're comparing? You know what a comparative is? If you say, China is bigger than Italy. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm comparing. I'm saying that China is a bigger country than Italy. But what would you?
So we have to use like Italy have more mobile phones than UK, for example. Yes.
Yeah. So Italy has, remember, more mobile
Yes.
than
Sorry.
the UK. Yeah. So Italy has more mobile phones. But if we use, what's an example of a superlative? And you could use a superlative with Italy and mobile phones, couldn't you?
Mm.
Italy is you said it's higher or than the UK. If you say it's the top one, how would you change higher? Higher, and then it becomes
The highest.
highest. Yeah. So the highest is the superlative, isn't it? The country with the highest mobile phone use is Italy, whereas the highest landline use is Denmark. So if you look there, I'm using two superlatives and I'm also comparing them. And again, they are the examples of how they will award you grades in the IELTS exam. Now, if you come back to the grammar here, so we said comparatives, superlatives. In this case, as I said, I'm going to use the present tense because I don't have any specific years. So it's not specific to a specific time period. It's a general truth. So that is something you have to pay attention to for this essay. And again, link words, words like however, in contrast. In the IELTS exam, they like you to use those. And in that coherence and cohesion score, that is where they will award you grades. Furthermore, however, in contrast. Any examples of these? And when you join the long courses at MPW, we do give you lists of these that you can use in your essays as well. In the long essay, for example, they like you to use about 6 of those. It's good to start each paragraph with one. In this short essay, I would use minimum of 5 because they help the examiner know where your sentence is going. If you're going to show, say, more information about the same thing. Furthermore, if you're going to contrast, however, it gives the examiner a clue as where you are taking your paragraph. And then you've got subordinating conjunctions. These are the words although, even though. Now, how could you use although, for example, in this graph, in this bar chart? Does anyone else want to speak as well? Anyone else? Liz, can you hear me? Or Sasha? I can see you're there. Yeah, no one else has got their mics on. Okay, so let's have a look here. So how could you use although, for example, in the sentence there? Catherine, you've got your mic on.
Denmark has a lot of landlines, although they have a lot of mobile phones too.
Yeah, you could say that. Or you could say, although you could say, for example, Italy. Although Italy has a lot of mobile phones, it does not have a lot of landlines. Or its landline use is just under 50% less, for example. So you're showing differences. And these are the types of sentences that again they like you to use in the exam. So remember the strategy. Think about the tense you're going to use. 1, it's very important. 2, look at the bigger picture so you get an overview, you get a general view of what that chart is showing you. And remember, you only have 20 minutes in the exam, so you need to look at it, get a good idea, and then move on to writing your essay. When you are looking at the overview, look at which countries have the highest, which are the lowest. You've got 2 categories there, mobile phones, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 countries. So that's all got to be mentioned. again, as I said, do not list. You do not need to describe everything in detail, but you need to do that in a way that you give an overview. So that's the strategy again, highest, lowest for each category. Then you look at the grammar. You look at the type of grammar you need. Yeah. Comparatives and superlatives you will definitely need in this essay because you are comparing and contrasting data. So remember that. Present tense we need in this essay. Link words. The other thing you need to think about in this essay as well is your prepositions and your articles. Now they deliberately, if you've got their US and you've got UK, what word would we need to use in front of that? Catherine, what would you use there? You wouldn't just say Canada has, I don't know, 38 in 100 mobile phone users, whereas, there's your contrast, USA has 48. Why would we not just say USA or UK? Do you know, Catherine, why you wouldn't do that? What word would you need to put in front of that?
We have to use the USA, the UK.
Yeah, the and do you know why you need the US and the UK? Because you don't need it for the other countries. Why do you need it for those two? Because you could say, where are you from, Catherine? Which country are you from?
I'm from Russia.
You're from Russia. Okay, so you say Russia, yeah, but you also say, well, in the past, you used to say, don't you say the Russian Federation, don't you? As well. You
Yes.
used to say the Soviet Union, didn't you, when it was before? And the reason why you said that, because you're looking at the type of country it is, like the United States of America, the United Kingdom, because you're using the word states, kingdom, federation, union. If China, for example, you could say the People's Republic of China. You're using the word republic, aren't you? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom. So if you say kingdom, republic, state, you must put the in front of the name. If it's just naming the country, though, like Canada, America, England, Scotland, Russia, you don't need it. And I've noticed that when they put the question, they deliberately don't add it because I think they're waiting to see if you're going to use it or not. So remember, in an exam, if you see these, and you often will see US, UK without the article, then you must add it when you're writing your essay, because otherwise they do mark it down. So they do pay attention to that as well. So remember the grammar as well. That's the important parts to remember. Any questions from anyone? You got any questions? So Liz, I could see you put a thing there that you've got a problem with your mic, but has anyone got any questions? If you haven't got a mic, ask me or put the question in the chat. Yeah? Has anyone got any questions? Can you hear me now? Can you speak now, anyone? Liz, can you try again to speak? Liz, if you
The only question I have is, why is there so little time?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Why is there so little time?
What, in the exam you mean? That is, they're doing it, I suppose, because I don't know, they're testing your exam skills. Because don't forget, sorry.
I'm just afraid that I won't have enough time to write it on a draft and then rewrite it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it is, once you get used to the technique, and don't forget that in the exam, there are, well, sorry, with this task 1 essay, you learn a technique for it. And if you learn the technique, then you can usually adapt the data. And to be honest, I've seen that students throughout the year, that as they gradually get used to writing these essays, they actually do speed up, and you'll find you probably will be able to do it quite easily in 15 minutes. Yeah, because if you're looking at this data and you get, that's why I said to you, you get quickly an overview. You get an overview, get the tense, quickly start writing. And what we do is we provide you, say, with example models and things like that, and link words, and so you will learn to quickly adapt it, I think, as well. You know, there's a phrase in English, practice makes perfect, and I think if you do that, that you will get used to it. I think you'll find you'll be okay, to be honest. So
I just get so stressed about this
yeah,
timing,
yeah,
because in our exam in Russia we have almost 4 hours to write an exam, and it's just
oh really? No,
hard.
no. IELTS, that's the thing with IELTS, with the reading, the listening. Well, the listening, you have the extra 10 minutes at the end to fill in your answers. But the reading and the writing papers, a lot of the skill that you learn is the timing as well. But as I said, Catherine, you do get used to it, to be honest. You do, as we provide you with the models, and you learn to do it quite quickly. So I think, you know, you do develop. I wouldn't worry about it. You will develop the skill over time. So if you look here now, planning your essay, yeah. So we've looked at the strategy, and again, Catherine, if you look at the strategies, it does help you speed up with the exam as well. Now, if you look at the grammar, again, we said that. Now, planning the essay. First, you need to look at the question. You need to identify the key words in the question, paying attention to the instruction sentence. So if we come back to the question, here is the question. The chart shows the number of mobile phones and landlines per 100 people in selected countries. Write a report for a university lecturer describing the information given. That sentence here, write a report, you will see that on every exam paper. So for the introduction, you paraphrase the question by using synonyms and altering the sentence structure, which will be around 30 words. So in the exam, you must not simply copy this. The chart shows the number of mobile phones and landlines per 100 people in selected countries. You must change that a bit. So chart, now as I've put here, this is the question. The chart shows the number of mobile phones and landlines per 100 people in selected countries. Obviously, you can't change the word mobile phones. If you want, you can put cell phones. You can use the American. And don't forget, in this exam, you can use American or British English or Australian or whatever, because it's an international exam. So if you want, you can change that to cell phones, but it doesn't matter if you leave it as mobile phones. You can adapt that by changing the word order. So the chart, you can change to bar chart, which is specifically a bar chart here. Shows, I've used the word illustrates. What other words can we use instead of shows? Do you know any other ones? Anyone? What other word? Or Catherine or anyone else? Tamara or Liz, can you put another word in the chat for me? What's another
Maybe
word?
illustrate, demonstrate.
Demonstrates, yeah. Demonstrates. Shows. Another word, anyone?
Illustrate.
Yeah, illustrates. Anything else? Depicts, yeah, I can see in the chat. Describes, another one. So remember, you're using something different to what is in the question. As I said, simply copy the question, you will lose marks, and you will lose marks in the vocabulary and in the organisation. So the bar chart illustrates, I've got here, they've put the number of, I've put how many, landline and mobile phone users. It says the number of mobile phones and landlines per 100 people. Sorry, that's my typing. here. East, yeah, 7 different countries, yeah. So the chart shows the number of mobile phones and landlines per 100 people in selected countries. I've put the bar chart illustrates how many landline and mobile phone users that exist in 7 different countries, yeah. So in selected countries in 7 different countries, you can do it in, you could, if you want, name the countries in Canada, the US, Germany, Denmark, the UK, Sweden and Italy. But to be honest, it's not necessary. You can just do it that way. So what you do is rephrase the question first. It's really important that you do that. And again, as you were saying, Catherine, you were saying about you worrying about time. If you learn to think, oh, if I see shows, I use describes, you learn key words to alter it as well. And again, you paraphrase, you reorder the question. They've got the number, I've put how many. You can learn that quite quickly to, you know, change those synonyms there. So for the introduction, paraphrase the question by using synonyms and altering the sentence structure around 30 words. Then what they want you to do is to do an overview sentence, yeah? Now the overview is almost like a conclusion. When I look at sample essays, they tend to prefer you to put that straight after the introduction. Some people do it as a conclusion at the end of the essay. Either way is okay, to be honest, but it's more common to see it here. And this is the overview sentence here. What does an overview mean? Tamara or Catherine? You've got your mics. What would you say an overview is? Or if someone can put it in the chat. What does the word overview? And I've seen Razzie, you've got the word represents for the introduction. But what is an overview? Anyone?
Maybe that's information in general.
Exactly, it's the information in general. Information in general is often what you put in the conclusion as well. But if you see it, it's quite common in the IELTS exam to see it at the beginning. So you can use these phrases like, as can be seen in the chart, Canada, the US and Denmark had more landline users, while the opposite trend was true in Italy, Sweden, the UK and Germany. That is just an overview, yeah? And it's like a general summing up of the essay. Now, as I've said there, you've got your introduction, 30 words, your overview, 40 words. That's already 70 words of your essay. So you will have that at the beginning. Then you use 2 paragraphs, 1 or 2 paragraphs. There is where you focus on the specific data, yeah? So that would be about, if you're doing 2 paragraphs, which is better to be honest. So you've got your introduction, you've got your overview sentence, and then you've got your 2 paragraphs comparing and contrasting the data, about 45 words each paragraph. Often what people will do is that the first paragraph, they'll look at the highest and the lowest, and the second paragraph, they will look at the ones in the middle. Sometimes you have bar charts where they talk about maybe life expectancy or, I don't know, any type of data that's relevant to specific countries. And they may have some that have high numbers, I don't know, high numbers of life expectancy, low numbers of life expectancy, and somewhere in the middle. What is life expectancy? Do you know what life expectancy is, anyone? That's an essay I've seen quite a lot on the IELTS. Anyone? You put it in the chat. What does life expectancy mean?
Is it something you know from your real life?
What life expectancy is, I can see someone is typing as well. It's the ages that people generally live to. Some countries, they have high life expectancy. I think somewhere like Japan, I think that's the average age that people live until is, I think, about 75 or something. Some countries are very low, where people die quite young. So it's the age that a lot of people die. Yeah. So if you look at that, that is an essay that comes up. So you may have countries that are very good, countries that are very low, where people die young, and some that are in the middle. Usually you get the 2 or 3 countries grouped in the middle, and it's very common on this essay to find 5 to 7 countries. This one again is mobile phones and landlines. You get different things, but it doesn't matter what you're describing. This essay could be on life expectancy. Here it's mobile and landlines. It could be anything. You will still use the same technique to compare the data. That's the important thing. If you learn specific skills and specific sentences, you can usually adapt them to different topics as well. So if we come back to this, as I said, you've got your introduction, which we have paraphrased here in around 30 words. Then we have used this overview sentence, which is it's slightly longer, about 40 words. Then you're going to have 2 paragraphs where you're describing the key data. Now, I've done these here for you, yeah? Now, if you look at the main body paragraphs, yeah? Let's get someone to read this. Can someone read it? I see Tamara, Catherine. Who's got their mic open? Yeah? Catherine?
Yes, I can read it.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to read that paragraph, the one I've highlighted?
So this whole paragraph I have to read.
Yeah.
As can be seen in the chart, 90 out of 100 people in Italy use mobile phones, which is the highest rate among the given countries. In Italy, the proportion of landline users is much lower, only 42 out of 100. The lowest rate of mobile phone owners can be found in Canada, where only 38% of people use mobile phones.
So can you see, Catherine, it's quite a simple technique that you're using. So what you're using here, you've got your superlative, the highest, lower, which is the comparative, lowest, which is another superlative, and then you've got, again, the lowest, which is Canada. And again, you're not using the same sentence structure and vocabulary to describe each thing. 90 out of 100, 38%, you're varying that, and you are referring to the chart all the time. Now, if you have personal knowledge, say, for example, say you said you're from Russia, and maybe you've got personal knowledge about how many people own phones, but it doesn't say it in the chart, you don't put it in this essay. You only describe what you see. Your second essay is the one where you will express your opinion on the topic they give you. Here, you simply describe the data, nothing more, nothing less. So as can be seen in the chart, and it's good to use sentences like that because you use up words. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words there out of the 150. 90 out of 100 people in Italy use mobile phones. That's your highest, isn't it? Which is the highest rate among the given countries. Given countries is a good way to refer to the countries described in the chart. In Italy, what's another word for proportion? What's another word for proportion here? Proportion is, what is it? Is it a number? What is it? Anyone?
This is a percentage of
It's
people.
a percentage, yeah. So if you use percentage in one sentence, you can use proportion in another. You can maybe use the figure in another. So again, vary in your vocabulary. If you have 2 or 3 different words that you can use to describe a situation, and you can then use them in different sentences. So in Italy, the proportion of landline users is much lower, in brackets, only 48 out of 100. The lowest rate of mobile phone users can be found in Canada, where only 38% of people use mobile phones. And again, if you're looking at that, it's quite clear and it's quite structured. You can, if you want, you add some other link words. 90 out of 100 people in Italy use mobile phones, which is the highest rate among the given countries. You could, if you wanted, there have added, however, as I was saying to you in the exam, they like you to use link words. However, in Italy, the proportion of landline users is much lower. So again, you've got a link word there as well. So if you find when you first write the essay you've forgotten one, oh, add it in later again. So, and that adds one more word as well. However, in Italy, so again, we're showing a contrast there, aren't we? So that's the first paragraph. Any questions on that first paragraph from anyone? Anyone? Again, if you haven't got a mic, if you can put your question in the chat. Yeah? Catherine, is that clear for you? Is that okay?
No, I don't have any questions.
No. Anyone else? If you have any questions, put in the chat. Anyone? Tamara or Liz?
Oh, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay then. Right, let's quickly come back to this. Now, this is the second paragraph. So, Tamara, do you want to read this paragraph?
Yes, of course. So the number of landline users in Canada is just above 60%, while the US has around 49 out of 100 mobile users compared to 69 for landline users. Germany, the UK, and Sweden have more phone users than landphone users. Interestingly, in Denmark, the figures were almost identical for both categories, with both above 80 and landline users higher than mobile phone users. Finally, mobile phones are more popular in the UK than landlines, standing at 82 and 59 respectively.
Yeah. Okay, now if we look at this, I deliberately put a past tense there. Now, you might find that when you're writing in the exam, you might accidentally put it in the past tense, and now you think, oh my God, to correct that. So remember what I said to you at the beginning, that in you're using the present tense here. So you might find you do it. So remember, that's just, again, I did that deliberately. So when I'm looking back at the essay, I'm thinking, oh my God, check that and quickly change it. So remember again, when you don't necessarily need to write it out again, but always go back and check it as well. So if you've got here, the number of landline users in Canada is just above 60%. Now, if I wanted again, remember I said I added a link word there. And you're writing the essay and you think, oh my God, I haven't put enough link words. I put, yeah, because you're adding more information. Look that we finished the previous paragraph on Canada, didn't we? We're continuing, sorry, the next paragraph on Canada, but it's a different aspect of Canada. So you could put furthermore. So I've got, however, furthermore, the number of landline users in Canada is just above 60%, while, again, there is your contrasting sentence, isn't it? The US has around 49 out of 100 mobile users compared to, so you've got while compared to, you're comparing and contrasting to 69 for landline users. Germany, the US, now I've got furthermore here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add moreover here. Moreover and furthermore both mean and, is when you're adding more information. Now I can put here, moreover, Germany, the UK and Sweden have more, and I put cell phone users there. You can use that, or mobile phones, than landline users. Interestingly, now that's another link word. So far in these two paragraphs, I've got however there. I've got furthermore here. I've got moreover there. I've got interestingly here. And I've also got finally there. So just in these two paragraphs, I have got 5 link phrases, and they are very good at organizing your points in essays. Yeah. So this is what you should be trying to do. And now if you just look at those red words, however tells me I'm going to say something different. Furthermore, moreover, say that I'm going to give more information. Interestingly, shows that there's going to be something that, no, that's interesting, it stands out. And then finally, there's the end of the essay, yeah? And that gives the examiner the clues as to what you're going to say. Interestingly, in Denmark, the figures are almost identical. I think it's the only country that has almost identical. There we are, yeah. The rest of them, there's slight differences. I suppose Germany a bit, but most of them have bigger differences. Denmark is the one that has the least differences. So you highlight that in your essay there. So interestingly, in Denmark, the figures are almost identical for both categories, with both above 80, and landline users higher than mobile phone users. So you're saying they're identical, but even though they're identical, landlines are slightly higher. And then finally, mobile phones are more popular in the UK than landlines, standing at around 82 and 59% respectively. What does it mean when I use this word respectively? That's a word you can use a lot. Now, if you've got UK, you've got their mobiles and you've got landlines. And if you look at the essay, I put 82 and 59% respectively. Does anyone know what this word means? You can put it in the chat if you know.
It's like maybe the comparing the difference between two numbers,
Yeah.
which are.
Sorry. Yeah. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I said maybe it's like the comparing between two, like the difference between two numbers that we saw in the chart.
Yeah, what it is, it means you are writing them in the order that they exist in the charts. Yeah, so it's this one's first and that one's second, and you quote them in that order in your essay as well. So can you see there, you've got those 5 link words, and that is added to your introduction here. So the introduction, I've rephrased the question, I've put my overview sentence, and I've compared and contrasted the data. And I've got 5 link words in those 2 paragraphs. And then if you want, you can add a summarizing conclusion. That's another link phrase. So I've got 6 here, haven't I? So to summarize, mobile phones are generally more popular in European countries than landlines, except in Denmark, while landlines are more popular in Canada and the USA. It's another overview, really. That's a summary of things. So you are giving a general idea about the whole of the chart there. So that is how you would structure this essay as well. And, you know, again, it just gives you a general idea. And again, you know, these bar charts, graphs, or pie charts are very, very common. There are other essays. Sometimes you might describe a process. Sometimes you may describe a map. But these are the most common ones for your task 1 IELTS essay. So are there any questions on that from anyone? Any questions?
No questions.
Tamara, have you done IELTS at all? Have you taken the exam?
Yes, I did. I had even the experience. I passed IELTS twice because I did for
Yeah.
and so yes, I passed it.
Yeah. What score did you get in the writing?
6.5.
That's a good score. So how did you find the timing in the exam? Did you find that you finished the essay quite quickly in the 20 minutes, this one?
Yes, it was not so, it was a bit difficult, but as I said before, on paper, it was a bit harder for me, and when I passed on the computer.
Oh, you did the computer one. Yeah. Yeah, you can do it either on computer or on paper. So that's, you know, either way. I mean, it depends what you find easier. Some people prefer on computer, others on paper. So, but as I say, you do get used to the timing of it as well. So that's fine. So, is any other questions from anyone before we finish? No? If anyone has any questions in the chat at all? No. Okay. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. I hope you have a good week. Next week there will be a lesson on listening. So if you have any questions on listening, you can attend that. Okay. So thank you. You sure you have no questions, everyone? Okay.
No, but thank you for your lesson.
Thank you. Have a good day and have a good weekend. Okay. Bye then. See you. Bye.